Algeria anger boils despite President and x27's offer to protesters. Algeria APU Algerian President Abdelaziz Bouteflika's offer of a new constitution and a truncated next term does not appear to have satisfied protesters, who faced off with riot police overnight. Crowds of mainly young protesters demonstrated into the early hours of Monday after Bouteflika's campaign manager formalized the president's candidacy for a fifth term in an April 18 election. As well as voicing opposition to Bouteflika's attempt to hold on to power, the protesters are accusing the country's secretive leadership of failing to share Algeria's gas wealth, heavy-handed security policies and widespread corruption. Police fired tear gas on protesters crying "Bouteflika, get out!" in Maurice Auden Square in western Algiers, according to images on Algerian private television networks. Demonstrators set a social security office on fire in the working-class neighborhood of Belouizdad, an Islamist stronghold, prompting clashes with police. The number of people injured or arrested has not been released. Demonstrations were also held in other cities against another term for Bouteflika, who has barely been seen in public since a 2013 stroke and is facing protests over his leadership of Africa's largest country. Responding to Algeria's biggest protest movement in years, Bouteflika said Sunday in a statement that if he's re-elected, he would hold a referendum on a new constitution and call an early election in which he wouldn't run. He also promised to fight endemic corruption, better distribute Algeria's wealth which is heavily dependent on natural gas and create better opportunities for Algerians who risk their lives to try to migrate across the Mediterranean to Europe. "I am resolute. If God wants and the Algerian people give me its trust, I will take the challenge of changing the regime," Bouteflika wrote in a statement read on national television by campaign chief Abdelghani Zalin. But protesters don't want Bouteflika to run at all in the April 18 vote, and described the offer as a ploy to remain in power. Opposition figures largely rejected Bouteflika's offers, and appeals are spreading online for a new nationwide protest action Friday. What Bouteflika is proposing is just a maneuver to find a way to buy time, Mustafa Boukhaji, a member of the Muwadna protest movement, said Monday on El Hayat television. He said Bouteflika refused to consider similar reform proposals offered by the opposition in 2015. "It's too late," he said. "There's only one thing. Questions are swirling around who is actually running the country, the 82-year-old Bouteflika or a coterie of powerful aides and generals." His campaign mystery around Bouteflika's whereabouts and doubts about his fitness for office prompted the Algerian ambassador to France to insist Monday that of course he is alive. "He's the one who is deciding, not the system," Ambassador Abdelkader Maidwa said on France's C News television. "Obviously, he isn't in the same health condition as when he was 20, but he has the full mind he had when he was 20, Maidwa said. He is physically Bouteflika was first elected in 1999 and is credited with reconciling the country after a decade of civil war between Islamic insurgents and security forces that left around 200,000 dead. Algeria sees frequent localized protests over tangible concerns like sewage or housing, problems the government can solve by spending money to fix them. When neighboring to Niger, what's different now is that this is about the expression of political will, said Jeff Porter of North African Risk Consulting. The government can, he warned that the political uncertainty is worrying foreign investors, because it's threatening recent government efforts at long overdue reforms to Algeria's gas-dependent economy. Angela Charlton in Paris contributed to this report.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.